Please, can you check what is experiencing on his end? I opened it up. Oh, but I can't see him.
Really? It's not showing that anybody else joined.
Something is not right. Let me share the link again. Oh. Hi, Fabian. Hi, Fabian. Can you hear me? Okay. He's not there. I've sent another link to him. Yes. Hi, guys. Just a few minutes before we go on.
All right.
Go on to the page, the invitation page, the original one. So since you guys are here, I just wanted to let you know that you would need to mute your microphones when you're not speaking so that what's going on in your background doesn't filter into the discussion until I prompt you to speak, please. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Fabian, I can see you, but you're not talking. Hello? Your microphone is off. Read your chat. So if you have questions, you can also leave them in the chat room. I'm trying to talk to Fabian, but he can't seem to hear me.
Okay, comparing those.
Not captured.
Wow.
What they asking for?
Yes. for to do that control. Not do it on hours.
Field of address.
Yeah. The guy is the guy.
I can see him, but I don't know if he's the one speaking right now. Is he on the phone? He's not talking at all. Is his microphone on?
My mic.
Okay.
Can you
Mr.
hear
Terry,
me?
I can see you and I can hear you.
You can hear me. Excellent. All
All
right.
right. All right. So we'll just give it a few more minutes before we go live because I'm still expecting some people to join us. Some people are having problems setting up and seeing the link. So just a few more minutes. By 3 o'clock, I will definitely be up.
All right, that's fine.
Thank you.
Can I talk with the other people in the room while that is going?
Yes, please. You can. They can hear you and they can see you. So yes, you can go ahead, please.
Okay, so there's a lady that is staring at me. I don't know her name. The lady in the room. Can you introduce yourself? Sorry. The lady in the room. Okay,
And
or maybe I
Actors
can start with the
Uniport is
gentleman.
talking to you. Can
The
you
two of
hear
you.
him?
I think,
Fabian,
well, I think
he's
it's
trying to get to know
frozen
you
for
guys.
her. Yeah.
Yes, she's
How you
just
guys
left. She's
doing?
probably coming up in a bit.
Yeah.
Your mic is off.
Hello, Fabian.
Your mic is off. Oh dear. I need to call him. Oh, Fabian, he's looking at me, but they can hear me. The people that their name is on this stuff. No, is it new recruit?
Oh, okay. I think we're trying to test our mic, but it seems not to be working. We can hear you though. All right, Fabian, I've seen your message. Hi, Fabian, how you doing? Okay, you can hear me perfectly. All right, that's great. Thanks for joining the Hangout today, all right? Okay, Nactus is back, right?
Yes.
Timothy,
How are you doing?
I'm fine. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for joining the Hangout today.
Thank you.
we can't we can't see your friends. Do they want to also come
Alright.
on so we can see their faces?
Come closer.
Oh, you have
Can
other
I see
people
your
there.
screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Welcome on board, everybody.
All right then. So, I think we'll just go on, and anyone who joins in as we go proceed, we would introduce them. So,
Okay.
all right.
All right. Fabian, I've seen your message. So, Fabian, what do you do? You want to send me a message? And in Actors, what do you do? Can I know?
We're a student group based in Port Harcourt, a student group in Uniport. We empower students through the help of the school, sponsorship, and other companies We carry out projects every year, and these projects help our communities. Oh yeah, somebody else.
So, as to what Asha said, we are
Okay.
non-government organization. We look out for problems around our communities and look.
Can I see who's talking?
Sorry, we look out for.
Can I see who's
Okay,
talking?
I to add to what she has said, a non-government organization. We look out for problems around our school vicinity and look for a way to solve problems. And every year we go for
Okay.
competition, we carry out projects. When we go for competition, we tell them what to have done by presenting it and showing them what we've done as well.
Any
Okay.
other thing?
That's what level are you guys currently?
We are students from different levels.
Different
So I'm in
departments and different
different
levels.
department and different levels. I'm in computer
Okay.
science, 200 level. The next.
Okay.
In business and communication, 400 level.
ABC
Okay.
computer science, 200 level. Next.
Biochemistry 300 level.
Nice. Hey, there's a man there. Excellent. Fabian, I've seen you. You're also part of an actors, but for Futo. As a Futo
Okay.
time a couple of months ago to do something. I know. So lovely. Maduka Godfrey, welcome also. Team secretary, studying computer science during the level. Excellent.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So I hope we'll be able to learn quite some things today.
Yeah, we hope to learn from you too.
Okay. So can someone tell me what? Let me ask that question. What would you like to be when you grow up?
Alright. When I grow up, I would like to be a social entrepreneur. I would like to
You want
empower
to be
people.
what? Social entrepreneur.
A social entrepreneur,
Okay.
apart from my field of study.
Okay.
So, what would you
That's
like to
good.
be?
All right. That's fine.
Okay, I would like to be a model and also to own a business of my
A
own.
model.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You like to be a model? I didn't get that.
Okay, actually, I would love to be a model and also have a business of my own. To own a
Okay.
business of my own.
That's good. All right. That's fine.
Alright, let the next person speak. Next. Well, I would like to be one that will impact others and also venture into a business.
To a business too. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Yes. As a result of my field of study, biochemistry, I would like to go into biochemistry in providing cures and solutions to what diseases and issues like that.
Okay. So you're studying biochemistry and you want to go into that field. So possibly maybe pharmaceutical or some other areas, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, so Maduka is a social entrepreneur. He wants to drive change and development the best way that he can also. Okay,
Okay.
excellent. All right, so I'm on cue for Kenny to let us know where to start.
All right, I'm here now. Thank you so much, Mr. Tewe. You
Excellent.
handled it perfectly, knowing
Thank
the
you.
students that we have here. And so since I already met them, and I'll just also meet you. So, but before I go on, I want to welcome everybody to the Hangout. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Kende Ayeni, and I work with Leap Africa as the communication officer. And let me quickly explain to you what we are doing here. The career where Leap is giving career tips through professionals to young people in Nigeria and Africa. Uh, we started this in 2013, and so far we've had very good responses from people, which is why we have continued to do this, which is also what has encouraged the platform every month since 2014. And this month we are having with us Mr. Jimi Tewe, and he's a very accomplished young person. I know that everybody here can also learn from him. And for those who have not been able to join us right now, once they get the recording, can also learn a few things we discussed today. So Mr. Jimi Tewe is the CEO of Inspiral Consulting, a career services and human resource management firm located in Lagos. Inspiral Consulting enjoys a strategic partnership with Career Leader, a global career coaching firm based in Boston, Massachusetts. Jimmy has a hard-to-find track record in his varying background experiences in two consulting firms, a non-profit organization, and two banks. Due to his rare blend of professionalism and experience and excellence, he became a senior manager of one of Nigeria's top 5 banks in only 5 years after NYSC, a feat which usually takes up to 13 years of regular career progression. He has authored 3 books: Where Did All My Money Go?, Getting a Good Job Easily, and Free from Corporate Slavery. Jimmy also has diverse materials that help young people reach their maximum potential. Jimmy's personal interest in people development is people development. He does this through coaching, inspirational speaking, and mentoring. He is a pastor with King's Word Ministries International. Jimmy also trains corporate bodies and private individuals. So you all will agree with me that we have an excellent speaker with us today. Thank you all for coming. So,
Thank you.
why did you start Inspiral Consulting?
Sorry, we didn't get
All right. So like you mentioned, I'd actually worked with several organizations, 5 of them to be precise, 2 consulting firms, 1 NGO, and 2 banks, yeah. So while I was working in banking, this was just about 5, 6 years, that I'd worked. I'd made quite some progress, but I realized that in spite of the achievements that I had recorded, I felt that there was still a lot more in terms of the capacity that I had, in terms of, excuse me, where my dreams were. And so what I thought to myself, and of course, based on certain level of interaction, I began to explore with the opportunity to actually go set up something on my own that would allow me to be able to express what I had in my heart. I'd seen an opportunity in the sense that in my interaction as head of recruitment for one of the banks then, I found out that there was quite a lot of skill gap. I also found that there was still quite a level of confusion in terms of people not knowing what career path to pursue. And I used to do that by the side. And then I also realized that I also had strong abilities, as it were, when it comes to public speaking and inspiring people. And so I started it off like a pilot while I was working, but got to a point where I realized that if I was going to give this my full attention, then I had to step out. So I stepped out of the banking industry in 2010 to start off in Spirit Consulting. Like you said, it's focused on career services and HR solutions. So my background professionally is actually HR. I got into career a bit more, much later. I began to learn about it, and I realized that I did have some level of solution that I could provide to people. So we've been doing this since 2011. That's when we started the organization. So this is the 3rd year of operation, really, and it's been a wonderful time. So that's what really prompted it. I saw an opportunity to be able to add value to people with regards to career solutions. But what I've done with the organization is that we don't only do career solutions, we also have some HR solutions for organizations too.
Oh, great. So, when I read your profile, it didn't give enough information about your educational background. So these students are, they are undergraduates and they're not even sure how to even start. So we want to know, what is your educational background?
Okay, so I studied agricultural economics from the University of Ibadan. And I like to always add this part of the story. My initial course to study was medicine, but I tell you how I graduated from medicine in one day. It was simply because I had an uncle that was pretty wealthy, and was a medical doctor. So I figured that if I was going to be wealthy, then I better just go with medicine. But I had another encounter with my cousin who was studying medicine, and she was staying with us at that time, and she was studying about 3 a.m., I think, about that time. And I asked her if she was studying for an exam. She said no. I said, do you have a test? She said no. I said, is this the way you read every day? She said yes. And so I said, that's the end of medicine for me. So I graduated right there and there, because I like to read, but not that much, okay? So I went with the next best thing, which was agriculture because my father is a professor in that area. I've been exposed somewhat. I kind of like I enjoyed it, and so I started off with economics. But I think pretty early I realized that that wasn't what I wanted to do in my life. I realized that although I could manage it, it wasn't something I was going to enjoy. So quite early I began to understand that a career is not something to endure, but something to enjoy. So I had to begin to look out for things that I did enjoy. One of those areas was management. In fact, the course that I loved the most while I was in school was the course of management. Books that I would find myself reading had to do with management. So by the time I was through with school, I had a few other experiences also that kind of like substantiated this interest in management. So I kind of like did an environmental scan and I discovered there's a field called management consulting. So 2002, I came to serve in Lagos. I came looking out for a consulting firm, management consulting firm, and that's how I started off, my career. So it gave me a pretty good, foundation. So again, the foundation for a career, and I don't get ahead of myself, is really about self-discovery. It's not about first and foremost looking out for the opportunities around you. You need to take cognizance of that, but it's also about, what do you, because the wiring, let's put it that way, of every individual is very unique, and it predisposes you towards certain career paths, all right? So once you're able to discover those things you're interested in, then you can now look in the environment and you're able to say, okay, where do I fit into? That's a good place to start. You might find out that your career might now span within an industry, or it might be just a foundation for you, and you can now move on from there to other things. So that's how it's been for me. So I've been in HR. For management consulting now, management consulting is very broad, but there are
Yeah.
different aspects to it. So HR for me kind of like stuck out, and I basically have built around that, yeah.
Oh, great. Fantastic. So one thing that came out to me while you were speaking is a quote. I will say quote right now because it sounds like a quote to me, is that a career is something that is enjoyed, not endured. So I think
True.
that's a very good thing for people who are listening in today, for them to understand that whatever career they choose is something that they discovered is not because it's the best money making system at the time they were making that choice, because at the end of the day you become frustrated because you went into it because of the gains that you thought you could get. So I think that's a very great point there, Mr. Tewe. Very great. So I found a very interesting report lately. It says that Nigeria has no, that by 2030, Nigeria will have the largest young labor force in the world. What does this mean for Nigeria, given your expertise in HR and career development for young people?
Well, from different perspectives, let me start from the perspective of the individual. It means, therefore, that well, hopefully, I mean, population growth is not bad, but it must be well balanced with opportunities in the environment. Is your economy growing? Because it can be a problem if the economy doesn't grow to match the population growth. But let's assume that the economy grows significantly. It therefore means that there will be many opportunities. You will see new career paths, for example, being developed. I tell people that things around maybe like let me say pediatric neurosurgeries, did not exist about 80 years ago, but is in existence today. That's a career path. So you'll find out there's going to be an evolution of a lot of career paths. You're going to see, or imagine, you're also going to see that well, there'll be quite some opportunities in terms of entrepreneurship, because large numbers of population means that people can actually sell more goods and services to a lot of people. So for those that are interested in business, it's something that they're going to need to look at. Now, the other side of it I want to look at is the economy doesn't grow as much as the population. It therefore means that we're going to have a problem on our hands. It means therefore that the competition for the opportunities will now be steeper, all right? It therefore means that you need to differentiate yourself with, like I said, with self-discovery, knowing your cognitive abilities. But beyond your cognitive abilities, it's about the kind of skills you can bring to solve problems for people. So let me say this to you: as much as your career basically is something you need to enjoy, it must find relevance in society. All right. And I see a lot of people that say to me, "Oh, I like to paint." The truth about it is that nobody cares that you know how to paint. But if your painting becomes a solution to somebody, then somebody and many people will be willing to add value to you, will be willing to accommodate you, will be willing to provide funding for your business and all that. So you must be able to, after self-discovery, do what I call that environmental scan to say, where can I plug into society? So if you have, we're currently 160 million, with about 60% being youth. If we're talking
Yes.
about I mean, 2030 become the largest. It therefore means that we're probably talking about billions of people, all right? And for me, that means the market. For me, that means let me share a quick story that helps. I remember when I was in school, I had a friend, and every day, when we come back from school, he would sit in his room and he would tell me that he's thinking. He would sit down biting his nails and he's thinking. I used to wonder whether it was queer to me. And why are you doing this? Everybody's out, going to visit people in the evening, reading. He says he's thinking. So I said, okay, one day I said, what are you thinking about? He said to me, Jimmy, how many people are in UI per time? We did a rough calculation. It came to about 17,000 people. So he says, I'm thinking about what 17,000 people can give me #1 for every single day. Meaning they'll give me 17,000 per day. And that's what I've been thinking about. And that's a guy that understands the power of population. If you have 100 million youth, all right, and take 10% of that, 10 million of them, and you have a product or service that they use every day, not only are you relevant to society, society will be relevant to you. So you must be able to link yourself to society. And that's one gap I find people. One thing I also need to mention, I know it's a bit out of scope, but let me say it's coming to my mind, is that that you are going to enjoy doesn't mean you're going to start off with a job, for example, that you enjoy, but there must be something you are gaining that positions you for what you enjoy. So I tell people, for example, that I talk about your dream job. That dream job is that thing you really enjoy, it pays your bills, it does everything, but you enjoy doing it. You might need to do some jobs you endure to get to the place you will enjoy, all right? So like I said, I started with consulting, management consulting. I still do a bit of that, but I don't do, I love to engage with people, talk, and interact and inspire. I don't sit down doing methodologies and all that every single day. I can endure that, all right? But it has helped me to develop myself to a point where I can now do what I enjoy, all right? So I know I said several things, but let's go on.
Okay then. There are instances, so let's go on to where people are now trying to get jobs in order for them to even start a career. There are instances of people interviewed, they get to this stage of the interview definitely, and they never get the job. What do you think they are doing wrong? What could be the problem?
Okay, so there are several things from my experience, all right, that people, let me even backtrack one step. A lot of people apply for jobs and they don't even get called, am I right?
Yes.
That happens a lot. Now, I'll give you an example, a live example. So this morning I sent out a broadcast, I'm using my BlackBerry, and I said, oh, that is an opportunity in organization, I'm trying to get some interns and somebody that's like a working professional, someone who has worked. And I asked people to send their resumes to me. Now, the funny thing, people send resumes, attach a resume and just forwarded it to me. There's no comment about, reference to a particular job role, just a few people. Now, the funny thing, when we are sorting through the CV, we are only going to look at those that had like a cover email. You can call it that way, not a cover letter now. Basically, first and foremost, we would look at those, because, between this morning and now, we've gotten almost 100 CVs. I'm not going to sit down to look at 100 CVs. I'm going to look at, first and foremost, those that are taking, their time to tell me why I should look at their CV, first and foremost. Now, if I don't find anybody in that group, then I might now go to the next group of people and I'll begin to sort through. Now, the person I'm looking for might actually be with the group of people that, maybe they just attach their resume. So you must take certain things very seriously, all right? Now, take them to the interview. Now, the truth about it is that the interview, the recruiter, on the average, there are some interviews that are like a kangaroo interview, that's what they call it. Basically, they either have someone they picked already for it, or, they're just going to do it based on favoritism and stuff like that. Let's assume all things are equal, all right? Now, in that interview, there's a job profile. There is a kind of person that fits the job. Now, the easiest model is the KSA model, the knowledge, skill, and attitude model. Basically saying that every job requires a certain level of knowledge, a certain level of skill, and a certain attitude that are right to perform the job. So when you're interviewing, you're looking out for somebody that possesses this. I tell people that before the interview, you need to sit in the seat of the recruiter to say, what would they be looking for? And then what do I have that matches that? So when I'm in an interview, I'm selling myself. Let me say this to you, that basically in an interview, people tell. So, I went to banking battle, I studied economics. That doesn't matter if the job is a banking job, okay? So what do you have that sells you to your potential employer? That's what you bring on board. In fact, questions always asked is, why should we hire you? And I hear things like, because I need the job, or because I'm good. Well, rather than say that, why don't you say things around, well, I do possess the skill, I've had this experience, I've worked in a vacation job that is similar to this, I'm enthusiastic about the job, I've even got to do some research and I've discovered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a bigger selling point than just going to say that I should give it a job, right? So sometimes it's also some people are not able to articulate themselves appropriately. So they're actually the right candidate, but they don't know how to speak. They get nervous. For example, you get to a panel and there are 10 people on the panel, and you get nervous, and then you are not able to present yourself. So I tell people that you should do friends, not your friends, people that are senior to you, your uncle, aunt, that work. Tell them to interview you. Tell them this is the job I'm going to go. Let them assume a few things. All right? Let them interview you. At least if you do a dry run or like a test before, the likelihood you perform better when you get to the real interview increases significantly. All right? Now, again, when you are in an interview, please always understand that there's a kind of person they're looking for. So try to understand what they might be looking for. Try to look for what you possess, and I'll try to, sell yourself in that regard.
Okay, right. So much knowledge sharing there, Mr. Tewe. So much. Thanks so much for that.
Yeah.
You said a lot of things that struck me there. For example, someone who is trying to sell herself or himself, they probably don't even have that experience. They don't even have the skills that is required for the job. Yes, they have the knowledge because they went to school and they have the certificate or degree to match the job description, but they have no experience, so to speak. So such person, what do you think the person should do as an undergraduate so that by the time they are graduating, or by the time a particular job, they find a particular job attractive enough, they would land it when they are there? What should they be doing right now as undergrads or even as a fresh graduate?
Okay, excellent. I want to throw light on what work experience means. It doesn't mean, because I hear people say things like you said, oh, it's an entry-level job, they're asking for work experience. Now, work experience does not have to do with post-graduation work experience. I tell people, for example, when you're in school, let me share maybe a story that will help in this regard. So the first job that I got was with a company called Restaurant Consulting. There's training, learning and development and stuff like that. And so the lady asked me that, why should we hire you? And I said to her that when I was in school, that I realized that people were into business. Some people, did not know how to manage their personal finance. And I put together a program, a conference, as it were, to the program, focused on how to handle personal finance and business and things like that. I organized it to get myself. We had 43 people. So I tell people that one thing you need to do is you need to ensure that you have you maximize your holidays. Don't sit at home watching movies, playing around. Get a holiday job. I've worked as an estate agent before. I've worked doing photocopies before. I've worked in a research institute before. All of them were doing my holidays. I've sold second-hand clothes before when I was in school. All right, and whether I liked it or not, all of that was adding to experience that is not relevant. That basically became relevant for me when I said to take up a job. You can get a project, do things together. In school, they ask you to be part of a group, and they tell you that you guys will work on something. Don't be that group member that doesn't attend group meetings. All right, it's all part of work experience because it's actually adding value or providing a solution in some regard. What you now need to do is on your resume, when you're now talking about work experience, okay, you can now talk about work experience and put in bracket is either volunteer or vacation and things like that. Now state clearly in business language the kind of thing you've done. So I remember someone that worked with her mom, that did like her mom sells Coca-Cola products, all right? So when we worked on her resume, what we said was, okay, she put the name of the organization and she was responsible for inventory because she has a book. Bessie talks about how many crates of Coke and Fanta were moved. That is called inventory management. She was responsible for ensuring that money that was owed came in. That's account receivable, right? People will come and try to discover that that's customer relationship management, right? So that's now it's about how to now package that. But what you see is that people say, I work with my mom, that's not a big deal. No, that is work, okay? And you're not able to sell that. So you do have work experience, try to maximize. When there's an actual strike, hopefully there won't be any longer. Go and volunteer someone, be a receptionist, do something. All right? I'm sure it's going to add value to you one way or the other.
Oh, fantastic. Great stuff. I definitely learned so much from your life experience because, like you said, it's about packaging in this country. Someone who has probably done all the day job and probably was for a relative undermined that work experience that she learned or gained while doing that. So I think it's very important the way we even present the kind of skills we're acquiring as we grow older. So yes, to take you back to the interview question you said earlier, what are the tips for resume writing that you would share with us today?
Okay, I'm going to make this pretty fast. First and foremost, let me start from the purpose of a resume because people ask me to review their resume, I say to them, no, I need you to think about it, all right? So that way you can know. Now, the resume basically is that document that the employer sees and says, I want to meet with him, I want to meet with her. So the question is, how do I structure that document so that when they read it, it means that it would probably lead to them wanting to meet me. Number one, it therefore means that your resume must reflect what they're looking for. So every resume that you're sending out must be tailored for the vacancy you're applying for. A lot of people have one resume, and sometimes I see it forward, RE, right? Meaning that they're just sending what they've sent to every other organization. So it's not tailored to the opportunity that is at hand. That's why most times you never get called, all right? So you must make sure it's tailored. Number two, it must be brief, all right? Because for I told you that this morning I sent out an advert, I have over 100 resumes. So I'm not going to sit down. My job is not resume reader, okay? I'm out trying to look out for the best candidate. So you must make sure it's as brief as possible, number two. Number three is that you must prioritize what is on the first page, particularly. Because most people that review resumes only look at the first page because they have many other resumes to look at. So on the first page, I tell people say, I see most resumes start up with personal details, name, local government. Nobody really cares about your local government, all right? Except if it's something based on federal character, okay? So, first and foremost, those things you possess that sell you for that job. So it could be some work experience you have. It could be your education. It could be the project you wrote, all right? It could be several things. So you must identify those things and now prioritize them and put them. Now, in terms of tips, you should have your career objective, particularly earlier when you are starting off your career, you have a career objective. Once you have a career summary, all right, after you work for a couple of years. From there, I always advise that you now begin to go into, if you are entry level, your education, particularly if it's relevant. If you made it 2-1, that should be on the second page or first class. That should be on the first page because usually it gives you an idea that you have at least. Now, I mean, if you have a third class and all those kind of things, again, it's not the end of the world, right? But if you do have maybe like a first class or second class upper, then you should sell yourself. I put that on the first page, okay? So I tell them that, look, one way or the other, I was able to balance school life and I came out with a good grade. Now, but hopefully you have other skills that basically position you. Now, just with that, you can go to non-relevant work experience. Things like your personal details actually should come towards the end. Then people put references. Now, if your reference, basically, maybe for example, that jobs that have to do with business development, and you have a strong link with somebody that the organization needs, please put the reference there. Usually, when you resume the reference, what the reference or the referee does is basically to validate things around your integrity. Okay, so I don't want you to now go. People put a lot of should be around the things that sell you. The knowledge you possess. Maybe you have done a training. Then you should put it on the first page. Skills, and then if you have the right attitude, maybe now it's difficult to put attitude on paper. All right. So sometimes in your reference, that's where it's really and people can actually validate it.
Right. Thank you so much. you said the last thing anyone should include on their resume should be the reference. Some people are not quite sure who their reference could be. So could you tell us
Yeah,
who a reference should be so they are aware they do not make the mistake of including someone because of their title or anything like that?
yeah. Okay, again, the concept of a reference is twofold. Number one is that who can we ask about you? That's what the reference is, really. All right. So they are usually when you resume in an organization, they actually send a letter to your referees to validate your claim about integrity, about your work ethic, and all that. And so they write about you. The second use of a reference also can be, like I mentioned, where who you know matters to the organization. Okay? So basically, I used to work in banking, for example, and with someone claiming that he knows the secretary of the president. Hey, why don't we have a discussion with you around that, right? And that's fine. So really and truly, first and foremost about people that will validate you. So you want to find people that can, because some people are so busy, they will send a reference letter to them, they will never answer. Have people that are accessible to you. Number two, have people that can speak well and speak honestly about you also. That's the essence of the reference.
Okay, fantastic. Very fantastic. I know you have 3 books that you've published, and I wanted to find out from you today, why did you write these books? What were the situations around you at the time you were putting these books together?
Okay, all right. So my first book I wrote in 2004. It's called Where Did All My Money Go? And just like the personal finance, I think I was earning about 65,000 naira back then per month. But by the second week of the month, I was wondering where did all my money go? And so I had to do some personal readjustment in terms of working on my finances. And it was in the middle of that that the concept about writing the book came. I didn't know that I could write, as it were. And I think there was quite some inspiration that came at that point in time. So it's really written like a story, but in it is embedded a lot of Bank for Africa at that point in time when I was working. And because I'd done some work with recruitment, I could see that people had some challenges about how to get a job. And so it's more like a booklet, I'll put it that way, basically help people to challenge their thinking, particularly to problem solvers. Let me say this, problem solvers get jobs faster than job seekers. A job seeker is someone that's looking for a job so they can just have money to make a living, all right? But a problem solver is somebody that has positioned themselves to solve problems for an organization, and so they're willing to take them on and pay them for the problem that they're solving, all right? The last book is called Free from Corporate Slavery. I wrote that in 2000 and, what was that? 2 years ago, 2012. That's when it was published. And basically, it was a response to something that was construed. Corporate slavery, basically, you will find people that, for example, that have worked, for a couple of years, and they do have ideas, they have things, or they want to switch a career path, but they are afraid of the unknown, okay? Or they would rather hold on to the what I call them, the benefit of a job, some kind of salary or some perks that come with the job, and they rather endure the job to enjoy what that job is giving them rather than pursue their dreams. All right, and that was my situation. I was a senior manager in the bank. I was earning as it were, but abnormal not just for it being abnormal, but usually in something they believe in. I believe that Nigeria needs people, for example, that what you do to what you love. So we talk about steps about that, talk about how to discover yourself, career. It's quite extensive also. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. We are almost at the end of this hangout, and I just want to ask you one very quick question. What are the three things that you love about working with young people?
Number one, young people have vision, or let me put it this way, they have the capability to have vision. The older you grow, the more likely it is your vision will be, because you have so much experience of success and failure that will challenge you. Okay, and I think that the people that changed this world, you will find out people that have changed nations and all that. Most of them, have done this when they were young, or the seed for change was planted when they were young. So number one, young people have vision. I love to work with people that have vision. Number two, young people have strength and they are very passionate about what they do. All right. I tell people that passion is the fuel that you'll be given to birth your vision, because vision is not enough. You must translate your vision into reality. And many times there'll be a price to pay and for that, and there'll be sacrifices to make for that. When you are married and you have 7 children, you are, less passionate. That's the truth about it, because everyone so you are making, you are thinking about your family also. So when you are young, you are able to take young people are very passionate and they're very strong. I think what about
Okay.
and I think that's quite true. Young people, it's easier to mold them. That's one thing that I think that again I spend a lot of my time. People ask me, why do you? I mean, I go to NYSC, I go to universities. When I can, I go to secondary schools, and people are asking me, why are you doing that? I find out that investment is a better option to life, than trying to just make up something at the end of your life. So investing in young people today, I know will birth and that's why I love to young people. So vision, passion, strength, and lastly, what I call the last one again? Yeah. So vision, number one.
Being
Number two is
shapeable.
passion, and then number three is that. Sorry.
I know you said
Yes,
something that you
investing in people and all. It's very important. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
right. Fabian and his friend has questions for you. So they say to me that they've had experience where
Okay.
they've gone to, they approached the company to intern and they were turned away. And they are wondering what could be
Done about that.
Can you hear me?
Okay. All right. Yes, I can hear you. I've seen that question. All right. So in terms of internship or volunteering, now the mistake, let me put it this way, that most Nigerian youth make is that they go to, now there are different kind of organizations in Nigeria. You have the large corporates, all right. Then you have the SMEs, small scale, medium scale. You have the micro, all right. Now, usually people try to volunteer for the large scale. You want to go to an MTN, you want to go to a Cadbury and all those kind of things. That's a big mistake, because the truth about it is that they don't know you. There's nobody that can vouch for your integrity. There's so much at stake that they're not willing to take a risk on you immediately. Right? So yes, if you do have a relative that works there and all that can speak for you, you can look at what we call the medium scale or the small scale organization. They won't pay you the kind of money you want or you desire. Young people want to earn a lot of money. I wish I had time. I'll have talked anything, and it affects a lot of people who make decisions. So, you make young organizations want to, rather than pay. Let me say this there. There's a model that I have. It's called the Learn Can Earn. First you learn, Learn, then you can, Can, then you begin to earn. Okay? So when you begin to learn first and foremost, and that should be the focus of the foundation of your career. So you are going to volunteer not to go and earn money, particularly if they give you money, great. But you want to go and look at what can I do to learn. Okay? A small scale organization, it could be some of your uncle's friend, your auntie's relative, or whatever. Usually they don't have structure around their recruitment, and so they're more willing to now allow you to come in. Now the interesting thing is that when you get in on that platform with them, after a while you can now go to the Cadbury's to say, I worked with this organization and now I'm now able to come. It's easier for them to call up that organization to confirm what you said, and then they can now allow you to come in. All right. So now, interestingly, Nigeria is 75%, approximately 75% SMEs. It therefore means there are more opportunities to volunteer for SMEs than there are with large corporates or the medium, even the medium, some pretty big medium-scale enterprises. Right? So I think that's what people need to do. All right. The second question you asked is, as a young entrepreneur, what is most important when venturing out? Passion or demand? You need the two of them. You need to balance your passion and also the demand for the business. You are not in business. You are passionate. All right? Business means that not only are you passionate, you must have to that carries your passion. You can express your passion, but what leads to a market. It's a supply part of it, all right? And there must be a demand for what you're willing to supply. If there's no supply or no demand, then there's no business, okay? You must be able to appropriately balance. I have a lot of people that do a business around your passion. Yes, you should do that. You can do that, and you can do business you're not even passionate about. Maybe it's temporal, all right, just to make some money and move on, okay? Use that as capital for what you're passionate about. But your passion must be defined as a product or service that is relevant to a particular segment of society. Without that, you're not in business. Okay? Also, I see that Fabian is asking that what about small firms that feel they don't because they feel they can't pay you. Tell them I'm not here for pay. Tell them I'm here to learn. Tell them, test me for 1 week and cover your transportation. This will cover your feeding. All right? That kind of things that you're going to see. So again, I tell people that, you know what, go out there. Don't say that home, you know,
Welcome. Okay, you. Okay, you. Okay. shaking. They are not ready.
Oh, oh wow, that was. All right, we are back. We are back.
Maybe when we stop, so it's not
Very sorry, guys. It was a bad disconnection there for a bit. I hope you got the best out of the things that Mr. Jimi was saying. All right, it looks like new faces are here, and I'm quite sure you've missed a couple of things, but whatever you've missed, you'll be able to hear it afterwards. I just want to quickly confirm that Mr. Tewe is with me, and then we can round off quickly. So, before we went off shortly, before then, we were going to ask a couple of questions, and we also received other questions that I'm sure that Mr. Tewe attended to. Do you have any other questions for him? And actors, I've not heard your voice, I've not seen your questions forwarded. Do you have any questions for Mr. Tewe? So far, he has said so many things that can help you, have a positive career, and you might just want to ask him now.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Hello. Hello.
I can hear you. Go ahead. Tell me your question.
All right. I want to ask, how can you make a company to accept your proposal? Only if an organization is an individual that wrote that proposal. How can you make a company accept that proposal?
Okay.
Did you get me?
Well, I got your question. What's your name?
Hereta from Enato Uniport.
Okay, well, your question, even though it's not directly linked to the question, the discussion for today, I'm sure that I can answer that because Mr. Tewe is still trying to come up.
Okay.
Right. So if you're asking an organization to accept your proposal, it has to be in line with what they're interested in doing. So you have to do your research, know that what you're presenting or proposing is something for sure they want to support or they want to fund or commit their funds to. So it's not just because you think Cadbury has money and you want to approach them for a certain amount of money. You have to, first of all, do your research to be sure that your goal for this proposal is being met and they will be willing to support you. So if someone turns you down, another person might just be willing to accept your proposal. Mr. Tewe, I can see you now.
Yeah, how are you doing?
All right then. Okay, so someone had asked previously about a company accepting or rejecting proposal. I know that was really way off. Do you think it's something you want to respond to before I close today's hangout?
Okay, proposals. What kind of proposals?
So she's supposed to be submitting a proposal on behalf of a group. Please go ahead.
It's an empowerment program. You don't have the finance and you want a company to sponsor you. How do you do it?
Oh, I guess. Okay, all right, I understand. Okay, now let me share, and I've also experienced this personally. A lot of people package programs that are well-meaning, will impact society, and then they go ask money with the thinking that most things out there and really want to help society. Now, corporate responsibility, every organization should be able to do that. But the reality about it is that not everybody is at the same level of commitment, all right, as the next person. It therefore means that people would therefore need, your job is to research, first and foremost, what your program is set to deliver. Who, and I mean, what organization is interested in that area also. So it's not just sending it to any big name company. A number of these organizations, what you are seeking, to sell to them is not in alignment to what they're about. They would sponsor it. Once you are through, the second thing about it is that a lot of people send proposals. They've never done a program before. Then they say to them, "We need you to give us 100,000 naira." Right? Now, companies have done this in the past before, and they gave 100,000 only for people to go use it to buy a BlackBerry phone. So what I tell people is this: that before you go ahead, prove to them, number one, that you are interested in change. How do you do that? Number one, I have been doing this before. So use your own money to do programs, okay, on a small scale. Do a pilot, show that it can succeed, and I'll say, I've done it on a small scale, I take it to the next scale. I need you guys to partner with me. All right, that's one way to look at it. The other thing you can do also to attract their interest, all right, is match it to something, like I've said already, match it to something that they're already doing, okay, that basically this helps them to achieve their goals a lot. Okay, you want to basically partner with them. The other thing about this is that, again, you must be able to justify everything you are also putting on board. Don't just say we want 1 million naira. Say to them, we're going to need 100,000 for venue, and we have gone, and this is the best value we can get for the amount, because nobody is out to seek to waste money. All right. Lastly, let me put this, is that you want to also say, now, if it's a corporate social responsibility effort, they're not going to be seen, as it were, getting any direct benefit from it. But if you're going to go to them to say, look, there's going to be a benefit for you, you must be able to link it directly in terms of figures. So I'll give you an example. I did a conference. I do a conference every year, the 1st of May, called the 7-Star Worker Conference. All right. Now, I asked people to come. All right, and I wanted them to fund it. So I said to them, you know what? Come and exhibit. The people that are your market are going to be people that are the participants. Pay this amount, okay? And people took that option. I said, not only that, do you want to talk to them? Pay for that, all right? Not only that, do you want to brand the venue? Pay for that, okay? Or you want to have access to some of their database? Then come. So you must think like a business person. How can I help that organization to move forward using my program? That way, you are not coming to take from them, you're actually coming to give to them. Do you get my point? I think we work that way, work better.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. I think you did a very good job responding to that very question. And I'm very sure an actors group at Jimi will find that very useful and can put it to practice this thing you've mentioned. So I want to thank everybody who has joined the Hangout today, particularly Mr. Tewe, who has found time to participate with us today. We really appreciate your time, and we appreciate the amount of information and knowledge sharing today. I've gained so much, and I'm very sure everyone who came onto the Hangout today would agree with me. And also, those who did not join today can see this video and also learn a thing or two that you said previously while they were not here. So I thank you so much, and I hope to see you all next time. For other people who want to communicate with Mr. Tewe, you can find him on Facebook, you can find him on Twitter, and you can also interact with him directly. So link up with him, and you can also contact Lee to link up with Mr. Tewe if you want to do that. I hope to see you next time. Thank you all for joining today. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.